Hey, good morning and welcome to the fourth hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to be with you again. Let me get set up here. Steve, you're already here. Steve is already here. Um, I'm laughing at the reaction between those of you who are here. Steve said, I do love me some word salad. It is delicious. As we talk about Kamala Harris, and Denise's response is even better. She's a master chef. Hey, good morning, my friends. It is good to be with you again. So let's see what's going on this morning. So today, folks who are following me on Facebook, you should also be able to see the stream on Facebook. It appears that we're up and running and everything is going well there. At least that's what StreamYards is telling me. So we're up and running on Facebook as well this morning. And I made that decision. I know it's too long. Successful videos on Facebook are normally shorter. You know, folks just watch, you're busy, or maybe you're sitting and waiting and you watch a short video while you're doing something, so on. But I've got a substantial number of followers on Facebook, not substantial, on a nationally number, but I've got about 3,300 folks who follow me on Facebook, and I appreciate that. Welcome. For those of you watching on Facebook, I appreciate that. Versus my YouTube numbers, and again, I'm not diminishing YouTube at all. And those of you who follow me on YouTube, very grateful for all of you. But I've got around 230 people on YouTube versus 3,300 on Facebook. So it just made sense to go with a premium subscription to StreamYards so that I can stream to both sites at the same time. And then again, even if folks don't watch it in its entirety, I know the time is 9:30. Not everybody's available at 9:30 in the morning, but now you'll be able to watch it at your convenience, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. You can watch it at your convenience. And then I post it afterward also to X so that those who follow me on X can watch it there. I cannot stream on X because I'm not paying for his premium subscription on X, but I've got a growing number of people who are following my account there as well. So I just want to welcome all of you. Thank you so much for being here. So let's turn to what's going on. Of course, I wanted to share this during the program this morning, and I get so much paper up in that studio sometimes that things get away from me now and then. There's a piece at the Post Millennial, the Nate Silver forecast. Nate Silver is a well-known pollster, and he now says that Donald Trump is leading in his forecast with a chance of a 52.4% victory over Kamala Harris at 47.3%. So Donald Trump is ahead. And now this is incredibly intriguing to me because all of the legacy media polls in the last 24 hours, it's Kamala Harris is up. Kamala Harris is up. Nate Silver is saying Trump is up. So I hate putting too much into these polls. I really do. But Nate Silver he's highly regarded by a number of people. Nate Silver is. And so now he's putting Trump up by a couple of points. And again, I think, what's your take on the polling that we're seeing that's coming from the legacy media? And, the numbers that they're out there and promoting. I would love to get your perspective on that. I'm just looking through the comments to see if anybody reaction here. Justin, thank you. Justin saying that adding Facebook was a good move. Just given the numbers of folks that I have that follow me on Facebook, And I'll tell you very honestly, last time I looked, I'm not one of those guys who goes and, okay, how many people are following me now? How many people are following me now? Um, I I just, life is busy. We got busy. I'm just doing my job. And I'm trying to incorporate this into what I'm doing and connecting with you. So I haven't been really paying attention to my numbers on Facebook. The last time I looked at my Facebook numbers, I had 2,200 people. I looked yesterday, I had 3,300 people. Well, that was a very pleasant surprise to me. I went home yesterday, with feeling pretty good about myself. Well, that people are responding and people are reacting. So Justin, I think it was a smart move too. I appreciate that, my friend. As we're talking about the polling, Steve said of again with names, I Nate Silver. I really struggle with names. I apologize for that. Steve said of Silver, he gets it right more often than he gets it wrong, and he's a leftist. Did you hear him yesterday on the Clay and Buck program? He was on with Clay Travis yesterday. The guy was pretty fascinating. Had a pretty interesting conversation. Pretty fascinating guy. And now he's got Trump up by 2 points. And again, everybody in the legacy media, it's all, oh, Kamala Harris is up, and got Wall Street Journal, and others are all reporting that it's Kamala Harris is up. Nate Silver is saying it's Donald Trump. We'll see, but I just think I trust so little of what I see right now from the legacy media that, really, I've got to verify everything I see. And I talked about that at length on the show this morning because of Donald Trump and this whole Arlington National Cemetery debacle, that Donald Trump was asked by the families to come, and they were even asked, to take photos with them. And as he brought a photographer along, and which was approved by the families, Trump was allowed to have one photographer along. And so that whole story, it's just a mishmash of crap. And then you've got the U.S. Army now that's stepping in and saying, oh, no, that someone in Trump's team, apparently pushed this employee at Arlington. Just give me a break. Why does everything that happens anymore have to be so hard? That's what we see. Everything is like pulling teeth. Can we just not have people show up and just the amount of hatred and I don't know why people hate Donald Trump in the way that they do, but they do. Where does that come from? For the life of me, I don't understand that. I understand why people say, I'm not going to vote for Trump. I get that. Totally understand it. But where does all of that? So the U.S. Army now is, saying, siding with their employee at Arlington National Cemetery, and Donald Trump responding to it and saying, the families asked me to be there. And then they asked me, can we take a photo with you? Absolutely. Donald Trump takes photos, especially with military families. They've lost a loved one and they're standing there in Arlington. Is Donald Trump going to take a photo? Of course he's going to take a photo. All of these things, it's just absolutely incredible. And this is the stuff that just exhausts you. You know what? Doesn't he exhaust you? Because I will tell you, during my time doing talk radio, and I mentioned this on the air this morning, I've been doing a daily news talk radio program since 1997. That's when I started. 1997 is when I started. So almost 20 years doing the morning show on Kello. I've been doing talk longer than that. And the way there have been significant changes over that 20 plus year period that have taken place in legacy media. I think it was always, to a degree, it was you know, always confrontational, and there was some media outlets, it was bad. But what has happened over the last 20 years is just, I mean, Donald Trump showing up at the request of families at Arlington shouldn't become a national story for days on end, because then the Army saying, oh, that members of, I don't know who it was, members of Trump's team that were there, because Trump has staffers there along with him. It wasn't Donald Trump who was involved in a shoving match, but, he was asked to be there. He was allowed to bring a photographer. He had one, so they have photographers there. Donald Trump was allowed to bring a photographer along. Can anybody explain to me why that has become one of the most highly trending stories over the course of the week? If that doesn't tell you everything about the decline of the media in this country, is absolutely incredible. I saw that was a story trending this morning. And again, it was the Army reaction that was trending. And then I thought, well, now, how many people might just see the reaction of the Army to that story? And, oh, here we go again. Donald Trump and his team, and, they're out there pushing themselves around. How many people will just see that story? And they will not see not only Donald Trump's reaction, but also the reaction from Gold Star families. The Gold Star families who invited Trump to be there in the first place, who are out there saying, no, Donald, we invited Donald Trump and we wanted those photos with him, and we wanted to take the photos in front of the grave markers of their loved ones. And I shared those with you yesterday during the fourth hour. Just absolutely amazing that news is not news anymore. It's propaganda. And these propagandists at, the legacy media outlets, that's what they're engaged in. It's absolute propaganda. It is not. And so for me, doing my job, it has become incredibly difficult to be able to find outlets that will provide the news. And now I ran into a problem this week with the Washington Examiner. The Washington Examiner is a place that I go and pretty regularly have used their website and have mentioned them by name repeatedly on the program. And now, I can only view like the first paragraph of a story without having to pay. And I understand the pay for news subscription. I get that. Totally understand it. That you've got more and more outlets that want you to have to pay. And I'm thought, I'm paying to stream on multiple platforms. Should I have to pay for the news? Should I have to pay to find out what the hell is going on in the country? And it's getting to a point where you probably will. But as I was saying, that one story that's out there, how many people would just see the ones, the U.S. Army reacting now to Donald Trump and this whole and Trump staff, and siding with their employee at Arlington National Cemetery. And I know nothing about this employee. I don't know what happened. I don't know what this employee is. I don't know where they're coming from and what it is that happened. I have no idea. It's the media reaction to all this that I find just really frustrating. And then you get the U.S. Army now jumping in. They think they've got to leap into the fray. And with respect, I was a member of the U.S. Army. I spent 6 years in the South Dakota Army National Guard. I've talked about that before. So I was proud to serve in the U.S. Army, and I would do it again. If I had it to do over again, I would do it again. So that was a great decision for me. And I thought it was a way to serve my country when I was a young man. But when I see the Army response and the Army, then where are they? Where are they? They're in Washington, D.C. These people were based in Washington, D.C., the absolute vile, or bile, I should say, that just comes out of their mouths. It's incredibly frustrating. So and of course, the legacy media, that's the story they're harping on. And I looked, one of the sites I go to every morning is left-wing Axios, and I take a look at what they've got. And Axios has got a story, Democrats now responding to this, and what happened at Arlington, and the whole thing's blowing up into a political brouhaha. And it's like, Donald Trump was asked by Gold Star families to be there at Arlington and to remember their, sons and daughters and family members who had fallen 3 years ago in Afghanistan during that just horrible U.S. exit. And where is the conversation about that? Where are the media reports right now about, the 3-year anniversary, about what a horrible job Joe Biden did pulling our troops out of Afghanistan? And where is the media, the legacy media, and their reaction and reporting on those people and what they did? Nowhere. Instead, what we see is hatred for Donald Trump. It just becomes too much to stomach. And I said on the air this morning, this is my job. So this is the world I live in, is I am looking at the news. I am sharing the news with you. We're talking about the news, reacting to it, sometimes just commentary on the news. That's what I do. But for you, you're busy. You've got jobs, you've got families, you've got other things, just like I am stressed about the things that I have going on in my job. I got to do this, and I got to make sure this gets done, and all these various things. And fighting the clock most of the morning, especially, it's a battle with the clock that I usually lose. And I talked about that this morning. If you watch the 6 a.m. hour of the Greg Belfrage show on YouTube, my stack of stuff that was strewn in the background. I said, look at this. And this is my stack of stuff. Those aren't even stories that are trending. That's the stuff I want to talk about. It just, it gets harder and harder to do that when the media is not doing their jobs, when they are not reporting. And again, I understand a lot of news sites now are going to a paywall, and I find that really unfortunate. I understand if you want to do more detailed things behind a paywall, but to put, I'm sorry that the Washington Examiner, it's like, oh, subscription, here's what, it's yet another subscription. I just want to be able to commentate on the news and be able to tell you what's going on. And every time I am, quoting a story at length, I tell you where the story came from. I tell you where to go find it. I think that's got value, that I'm pointing those things out to you so you can go find them for yourselves. I think that's got value, but it is what it is. But this Donald Trump story and this Arlington thing, it's just another indication of how far the legacy media has fallen. Okay, let's take a look at some of what you guys are saying. Justin said, I didn't see the actual news about the Army's reaction. Take a look, because it's everywhere. I mean, it's actually, it was a trending story this morning. Go to freespoke.com. So one of the reasons why I recommend FreeSpoke, go to freespoke.com, all one word. It's where I pull all the trending stories each morning. I go through the list, and I can see where I left off yesterday. I can tell where I'm getting into stories that I've already shared. So I go to freespoke.com each morning. I see all of the stories that are trending, And then what Free Spoke does, I feel like I'm doing ads for Free Spoke all the time. But it's a great website. It's a great website, and it's free. It's absolutely free. And so you go to Free Spoke, and it will tell you, let me grab some of got my stack of stuff from this morning. I think I've got some of my leftovers here. There will be that story about what's going on in Colorado and these gangs and that apartment building and all of that. Have you seen any of those stories? Well, that story is trending this morning. So you go to Free Spoke, and the headline is Denver suburb grapples with violent crime wave as migrant gang takes hold. And then down below, there are 3 different websites where you can see that story. And there's an arrow, and you click on the arrow. There are 3 more websites where you can find that story trending. Click on the arrow again. 3 more websites. There will sometimes be 6 or 9 websites where you can go to then and look at that story for more detail. It's just a wonderful resource. Again, it's called freespoke.com. Steve said the problem with media types living in a bubble, they assume everyone else lives in that same bubble. Are you talking about me? He said, I look inside their bubble and am confused that they could believe what they say. Yeah, I think that's become pretty common. The same thing. It's like CNN. It's like, what? I'm saying that a lot these days. Just the reaction is, again, I hope to have, because I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy. This it just happens to be what I do, have been doing for a living. I enjoy being on the air. I enjoy interacting with you, and that's what keeps me going. But I have a very Main Street view kind of all of these events. And I ask myself that, it's like, what's the view on Main Street to this? Or in other words, what's the common sense? What does my common sense tell me? I may not have a lot of other, I may not be highly intelligent in some regard, but I think one of the things I've been blessed with is a lot of common sense and the ability to discern what's going on. And it's just absolutely incredible. Steve, I shake my head all the time. I can't even tell you how many times in a day I just go, I'm just exasperated constantly at the reactions from people, the reactions from the media, and you just have to be mindful. It's one of the reasons why I've told you, where I get to a point in my day, okay, I'm done. That's my contribution today for King and Country. And then I'm done, and that's it. And I'm not, and I remove myself because I've been in it so heavily. Some people can do it nonstop. I mean, I watch some people who do this kind of, they're streaming, they're doing multiple shows, they, all of that. They got that going on constantly. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't run full throttle like that anymore. I will run full throttle during the time I'm on the air. I want to motivate you in the morning, get you up and going, let you know what's going on, give you a conservative perspective on the news of the day, and there you go. And then it takes a certain amount of adrenaline and energy to be able to do that. And I'm not the only person who will tell you. I'll give you an example. Joe Pags. Those of you who listen to Joe Pags show, if you ever watched Joe Pags, because Joe Pags has been on, streaming for a long time. He just does an awesome radio show. You hear it evenings on Kello, right after the Mark Levin show, Joe Pags. And he's a great broadcaster. I love Joe Pags. Great sense of humor, very articulate, very quick. When he's done with his program, He shuts down. He just shuts down. And I've heard him talk about this. He just shuts, and I'm like, I totally get that. I get that. Because that's how I am. When I'm done, it's just like I'm washing my hands of this crap, and I need to retreat. I need some time to myself. And I do. It's one of the beautiful things about the hours that I work is when I'm done for the day, I go home. Katie's still working. So I got the place to myself. I got my buddy Rocco, who's the most wonderful dog. Um, but I just retreat and and it's my stuff. And whatever it might be video games. Steve, I know you're a video game player. And it just allows me to decompress. That's what I love about it. It just allows me to decompress. I've got time to myself, boom. And then I look forward to Katie coming home you know, but I think you really need that time because it's really a little bit overwhelming sometimes. Um, Other days it's like, man, you're done, you feel great, everything went well. I had a day this week, just a couple of days ago. I could not find the words. I could not get them to come out of my mouth, both on the air plus during the live stream. And it's like on days like those, the only thing you look forward to is being done. You just want to be done. It's just like, oh, this is not a good day. I don't know what happens. Some days are great. Other days, it's the opposite of that. You just get done and man, that could not have gone better. You feel really good about it. Some days just it's a struggle, believe me. And you guys are awfully kind because then I hear comments from people. It's like, I couldn't tell you had a bad day. Friends who listen to the show, I couldn't tell you had a bad day today. You sounded great. I'm like, oh, no, it was bad. I know bad when I hear it. Other stories I wanted to share with you this morning. I'm going to pass on that one. Socialist International has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. So that's a post-millennial. Socialist International. Yeah, they've endorsed Kamala Harris for president. What does that tell you? Again, for those who actually follow news, that says something. It ought to say something to people. You know what I mean? Also, and I had this in the stack of stuff this morning. I mentioned it early in the program, but did not circle back to it, that Ford has dropped their DEI programs. And the CEO of Ford, he said, now again, this is the quote that that post-millennial chose. And it's nonsense. We're mindful, this is the CEO of Ford. We're mindful that our employees and customers hold a wide range of beliefs. Okay, should have ended the sentence there, which is true. They hold a wide range of beliefs, and the external and legal environment related to political and social issues continues to evolve. It's going to take somebody smarter than me to explain what it was he was trying to say with the conclusion of that. What it boils down to is Ford now is the latest company to say, wash their hands of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're washing their hands of DEI. There are more and more companies that are moving away from DEI, washing their hands of DEI, and Ford now is the latest. Bud Light, there was a post, there was a story this morning, and I saw that at Outkick.com about Bud Light and Bud Light's new commercial and how Bud Light seems to have figured it out now and are taking steps. Now, I'm not a Bud Light drinker, And as we have talked about Bud Light, I know many beer drinkers that boycotted Bud Light. They were really unhappy with the spokesperson, that again, they had reached out to a social media influencer to try to promote the brand. Drinkers found out about it, Bud Light drinkers found out about it and were not very happy about it, and their sales just plummeted. So now they have seemed to be back on. They've developed a marketing campaign very much now in step with the old Bud Light that we all love and remember, because I certainly was a Bud drinker in my younger days. Drank a lot of Bud Light when I was younger. I think I got through college drinking Bud Light. Sure. Not that I'm proud of it. I'm just saying that's the way it is. Um, but they had a great brand, and they've been really, really destroyed. And so Outkick.com's got a piece this morning saying that this new ad campaign they got out and they're running, this is like it's like the old times. They seem to have rediscovered that, we have got to get back to it. So Ford, now the latest that, diversity, equity, and inclusion, a lot of that, they're moving away from it. I don't know how serious they are about it. I know that locally I have spoken with people who have pretty serious concerns about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the fact that we've got there are some high profile companies in this community that are pushing diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the Sioux Empire United Way has been a part of this diversity, equity, and inclusion. And more now you're seeing big major companies that are saying, no, Ford now is the latest. I mean, there have been, I think, several just in the last week that have moved away from diversity, equity, and inclusion. Every time I hear that the hairs on my neck just stand up. It's because it's what you find is you start looking into diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's pushed by people on the far left, that are pushing this, and it's really kind of troubling stuff. So it's hopeful to me. Again, I don't know. We'll see what steps Ford takes moving forward, but you're having a growing number of companies who just say, this is not good for our business. This is not good for our brand. This is not good for our bottom line. And as a member of a company, well, you got to be all about the bottom line, right? I mean, I'll make no pretense to you that what we're doing is all about money. When I'm on the air and my advertisers, God bless them, couldn't do what I do without them. The advertising model that we work on, but our advertisers, again, allow me to do what I do, but it's all about the money. Why do all of us work? Because we want that paycheck. We need to pay bills. We got to make ends meet, right? So for these companies who finally coming to the realization that, hey, the bottom line's not doing too well, many of us have been saying that now for some time. It's unfortunate that it took them so long to wake up, but more and more are doing that. More and more companies are saying, no, John Deere has done it. Again, there are a number of others, Ford being the latest, but Harley Davidson, Lowe's, among those most recently, it was Harley Davidson, who also backed away from diversity, equity, and inclusion, because Harley Davidson understands who their customers are, and they understand their customers were upset. They were angry about this kind of nonsense of what was going on. And Harley Davidson's like, let's just get back to making great bikes and promoting our bikes to those who ride. It's like refreshing. It shouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure a lot of this stuff out. So I don't know why so many companies have just gotten lost in that and just a little bit awash, I think, in that kind of thing. But that's what we've seen. So now Ford is dropping their diversity, equity, and inclusion. There was one other story. Brittany Mahomes had liked a post about Donald Trump, soccer player Brittany Mahomes. And so she had liked a post of Trump's and started getting all of this heat, just a remarkable amount of heat. And she now is out there saying she doesn't give a blank anymore about the heat. She doesn't care anymore about what people are saying because, again, social media, I love it at times, not so much. It depends on the day. I love all of you who follow me on social media. I'm grateful for you. But social media in general, even as I have posts that start going, I don't want to say go viral, but when I have a post on Facebook, for instance, that's doing really well, and then you start bringing in the friend of a listener, somebody who follows me, one of their friends, one of their family members, that they start coming in, and then the whole thing about social media is the more of that kind of reaction that you have, the more that it builds, and your number is up and you're getting more likes. Keep it up. Facebook is going to do. Keep it up. You're doing great. You're getting more likes. Well, I never concern myself with likes, but you can always tell then, like Brittany Mahomes did, she just doesn't give an F about what people are saying. And I get to that point with posts too on Facebook, where now it's got a good number of people who are reacting to it, following it, and people start weighing in. And I will tell you very candidly, I stopped giving a crap. I just don't care, because now it's not you. It's not my core audience. It's not those people that listen to me, understand me, it's not those people. It's a lot of other people that are related maybe to you, or you maybe just an acquaintance of yours, and they pop off on the post. I just don't. I'm like Brittany Mahomes. I don't give a really, what those people think. I just really don't. So I really appreciate having you along. Just wanted to see what some of you are saying here. Scotty, about not being able to express yourself the way you want to. Trust me when I say your voice is a blessing. On your worst day, you could never sound as bad as babbling Biden and cackling Kamala. Scotty, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Just made my weekend, buddy. I appreciate that very much. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Please hit the like button. I don't mention the like button, and I've watched other streamers, and they're telling you every few minutes, hey, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and then they're back, and then please hit the like button, please subscribe. I don't do that. Because I don't want to waste your time. I appreciate having you here, and I want to make the most of the time we have together, believe it or not. So I ask at the end, please hit the like button if you like what I'm doing. Share it with like-minded friends that you on and I'm not looking for people that are going to hate what I'm doing. I'm saying if you've got like-minded friends that, your buddies that you talk about, and if they don't listen to the Greg Belfrage show, let them know about me. Let them know about the fourth hour and what we're doing. Just telling them really makes a difference. And again, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who are watching this today on Facebook. This is the first stream today on Facebook. We'll be doing this every weekday morning that I'm working. When we do the fourth hour of the Greg Belford Show, it'll be on Facebook. And again, if you're not available at 9:30, the beauty is you can watch when it's convenient for you. You can always come back to my page and watch it at your convenience when you've got a little bit of time. So I want to wish you a really wonderful weekend. Take care. Hit that like button. Because I know those of you who are hitting the like button, I know who you are. And those of you who aren't, I'm going to come to your house. Have a great weekend. Take care. So long until Monday, my friend. And may God bless.